From the outset of this course, the idea has been to provide you tools to implement change as you see fit. What you now have is a knowledge base and a tool set. And together, they offer a way to achieve more and live life as fit and healthy person. You have the science behind the basics of nutrition and exercise and how they work to alter your body composition, improve your performance, and optimize your health. But how do you best implement these changes? Well, that's the purpose of this lecture. But it is no secret because I've been hinting at it throughout all of the lectures in this course. The key is to make small changes in your daily behaviors and habits. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, that's the entire point. To make this journey towards your optimal body composition as easy as humanly possible. Did you know that about 40% of the actions that we do in a day are habits? This means almost 10% of the hours in a day are spent doing things we don't consciously think about. That is a significant amount of time. If poor eating and no exercise had developed into habits over time, it makes it much harder to change because they are so ingrained in your daily routine. That's why it always seems crazy to me that people think they can change everything overnight or lose the fat in 1 week that it took them 20 years to put on. But change is definitely possible if the right approach is taken. The key is to set small, reachable goals and alter small daily habits that fit into your lifestyle. Maybe you were expecting me to give you an overall plan that had you eating only chicken breasts and broccoli, or drinking herbal teas and practicing yoga for hours on end. But that'll never work. The changes you make need to work for you. And trying to lift as much as your personal trainer or eat just like her may not work for you. That works for her and was probably developed over many years. But only you know what works best for you and your schedule and your family and your goals. And focus on changes you know you can make with the greatest success. Also, keep in mind that the ability to successfully change a behavior is closely related to your confidence. If you set a goal that you are not confident in, then you're not likely to make it. Why not make it easier on yourself and choose goals that you are sure to meet? For example, what seems more realistic? Exercising for 1 hour per day, 3 days per week, or losing 30 pounds of fat? Doesn't it seem much easier to work on the habits that you can control rather than on results that you really can't control? Now, it's far easier to say, I'll exercise 3 days per week, or I'll eat 4 servings of vegetables today. This lecture discusses major motivational concepts and ideas for how to change your daily behaviors in order to reach your optimal body composition, health, and performance. You need to know that changing your exercise habits alone is probably not enough to drastically change your body composition. Of course, there are success stories here and there, but to a large extent, exercise alone won't push the dial too far. To significantly change body composition, both smart exercise and a healthy diet, as we've discussed it, are absolutely necessary. Researchers have looked at the effect of diet alone, exercise alone, or the combination on weight and body composition changes in overweight to obese women. The women who were randomized into one of 4 groups for an entire year. The diet-only group followed a calorie-reduced, low-fat diet. The exercise-only group completed an aerobic exercise program working up to about 45 minutes of exercise 5 days per week. And the combined group obviously did both of these. They also had a fourth control group that had no lifestyle changes at all. After a year of this, the diet-only group decreased body fat by 4.2%, which is not bad. The exercise-only group didn't fare nearly as well and only lowered body fat by 1.6%. It was the combined diet and exercise group that did the best and lost 5.9% body fat. Other studies seem to line up most of the time to confirm these results, that diet and exercise must be combined to see significant change. The research I've been involved in also has shown that the type of exercise you do makes a difference. For example, simply eating a higher protein diet and doing both resistance training and high-intensity interval training led to more body fat and belly fat loss compared to eating a more traditional, lower protein diet and simply walking or jogging most days of the week. So, what else can you do to better your chances of success? If your goal is to improve body composition, I recommend you simplify both your diet and exercise routine, and do not change everything at once. Creating a complex meal plan and exercise schedule does you no good if you can't stick to it. It may just set you up for failure and disappointment. Honestly, no change is too small. For example, Dr. John Berardi, a leading physique transformation expert, recommends asking yourself how confident you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 that you could complete a new behavior task, something like eating at least 3 servings of vegetables 5 days per week. Then, only start this new habit if you answered a 9 or a 10 on this scale. Anything lower, and this doesn't seem to stick very well. It's likely too much to expect of yourself or anyone else. The more confident you are with your goal, the more likely you are to be successful. Another strategy is to simply be aware and fully present when you make nutrition and exercise choices. And this is harder than it seems. How many times do you try and eat a meal, finish a few emails, take a call, watch TV, and talk to your wife all at the same time? Well, I have to work at this all the time too. But if you're too busy and distracted to really pay attention to what you're eating and drinking throughout the day, it is really easy to overeat and overdrink. Researchers from the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom published an article in 2013 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that analyzed all related research for how attention and memory influenced how food was eaten. Each study of the 24 studies analyzed had groups that were either distracted or not while eating, such as watching TV or not watching TV. The authors found that distracted eating led to eating more food at that meal and in subsequent meals. They also reported that simply being mindful or paying attention led to eating less later on in the day. Another study had 60 women eat a cereal bar while watching TV, walking, or talking, and they measured their desire to eat and total food intake. While desire to eat was not influenced, the women consumed more calories in the day, specifically 5 times more chocolate, if the cereal bar was eaten while walking. Now, the authors simply noted that this served as a form of distraction that led them to overeat. The type of distraction that would lead to more food consumption is probably quite individualized. In this study, walking was a bigger distraction than TV. But there are many different types of mindless acts that can completely sabotage everything you've worked so hard for during your workouts. The simple act of paying attention and being physically and mentally present when you eat can make a real difference in the amount of calories you consume. It's far easier to eat until you're about 80% full if you pay attention. There is no clear way for how to only eat until you're 80% full though, so you'll have to experiment with this. You probably know though that feeling of being very hungry and also of being way too full. So practice stopping at a point when you feel like you're not overly full. Perhaps it's that point when you say to yourself, I should probably stop now, but one more serving would be so good. Just give it a try. I think you'll find out how to stop when you're about 80% full if you practice enough and make this a real goal. Along the same line, one study decided to see how this approach, often called mindful eating, worked in middle-aged women who ate out at restaurants at least 3 times per week. They had one group attend small group sessions to learn about behavior change and mindful eating strategies, while the other group had no help at all. As you might expect, the people who knew about the practice and being fully present when they ate took in fewer calories throughout the day and lost significantly more weight. So here's how to start. Slow down. Simply eating slowly might just give your brain a chance to process hunger cues and help you figure out when to stop eating. It is pretty well understood that it takes a little bit of time to feel full. And if you don't give yourself that time and just keep shoveling your food in, it's pretty easy to get a few hundred extra calories down in just a few minutes. Also, try to eliminate distractions. Just like when you drive, if you can stop all of the distractions when you eat, you'll have a better chance of making it to your destination. TV, tablets, cell phones, and any number of gadgets will distract you. You can also practice being fully present and engaged during your workouts. I can't tell you how many times I walk into my gym and notice the same person, day after day, year after year, mindlessly going through the motions. If you're outside, try to look around a bit, safely of course, and notice the landscape, the trees, smell the fresh air. If you always jog or run with music, then from time to time, try unplugging and just listen to your breathing and your heartbeat as you exercise. Think about what muscles are working and what these exercises are doing for you. Think about how much stronger you are becoming, both physically and mentally, from each successful workout. Some people call this the mind-body connection. You think about your progress, you think about the blood flowing through your body and nourishing your cells. You think about the fuel you ate to power your workout and make you strong and energetic. Your body is an amazing thing and deserves some attention. This ability to focus and connect with your workout could be one thing that turns the corner for you and makes you truly love being physically active. Also, find activities that you enjoy to do. They may be traditional things like walking, running, swimming, or other options like yoga, hiking, group exercise, golf, basketball, or any other sport. There are endless options for getting in your recommended amount of exercise, and it doesn't have to be something you dread. Without a doubt, to improve health, you need to exercise. Again, if I told you that there was a medication that provided the same benefits as exercise, it would be prescribed to everyone in the world. To truly optimize your body composition, simply walking probably won't cut it. It will improve health and maybe even body weight, but it probably won't change your body composition dramatically. But doing a wide variety of exercises including resistance training and high-intensity interval training, can be pretty simple to include and can also be fun, especially if you're in the right mindset for change. The last point to emphasize is that adherence to your diet and exercise plans are going to make or break you. Recently, a short review came out that analyzed studies that evaluated popular diets. No matter what diet was tried, they all consistently had one thing in common. No matter the diet or the exercise regimen, the participants' adherence to the program was most strongly associated with their weight loss. So, simply making changes that you can stick to is the key to success with body composition change. One way to improve adherence is to understand how to set up your home for success. And it starts with knowing some grocery shopping tips. This is really one of the most fundamental concepts that set the stage for making successful dietary changes. If your grocery shopping list is organized, it makes it much easier for you to make better and healthier choices at home. Where do you go first? Well, make a list before you go to the store. This way you arrive prepared and you save time. Just get what you need and get out of there. If it isn't on your list, don't buy it. This doesn't mean to exclude any items that you consider treats, but only buy small amounts. Because if you're like me, if it's in your house, you'll probably eat it. Making a list also helps you think about your meals for the week, and rather than just one meal or one day's meals. You have a broader perspective on your dietary choices this way. And making a list, you prepare for meals in advance, so you're more likely to have a go-to option that fuels you right. If you don't use a list, especially if you're new to eating well, you are more likely to buy food you've always bought, and that may be the problem. Use a list to remind you of the healthier choices that you want to start making. And keep in mind that grocery stores are scientifically set up to encourage you to spend more money and buy more things. You'll often hear experts tell you to stay on the perimeter of the store because that's where you find fresh fruits and vegetables and foods like lean meats and dairy products. But you'll need to dive into the middle of the store as well for some staples like olive oil, tea, nuts, seeds, some legumes, and some whole grain options too. But don't get confused by labels like natural, gluten-free, and low-fat. The food industry bombards you with thousands of options, which leads to confusion and often poor choices. There's something called the health halo effect. This happens when you see a label on the front of a package that says good source of vitamin C and believe that it's automatically better for you or lower in calories. These claims can actually mean very little, but we often believe that these foods are better for us. For example, the label natural is not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, but the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, states that natural is for meat, eggs, and poultry products that must be minimally processed with no artificial ingredients. But this has nothing to do with the farming practices, so it could still have antibiotics and growth hormones in the raising process. Gluten-free simply means that a particular food has less than 20 parts per million of gluten. It means nothing about the calorie count, the nutrient density, or the quality of the food. I've had clients tell me that they are eating healthy because they're eating gluten-free. But the gluten-free products that they showed me were not even close to healthy. Unless you have a doctor's order, eating gluten-free is no more or less healthy than eating gluten-full. The same goes for low-fat products. All this means is that food can have no more than 3 grams of fat per serving. Usually, low-fat foods are also stuffed full of added sugars to improve the flavor due to the lower fat content. So your best bet is to investigate the product for yourself by looking at the nutrition facts label that can be found on each item. Or better yet, aim for minimally processed foods with as few ingredients as you can manage. Notice I didn't say don't eat processed foods. This just isn't very practical. Most everything we buy to eat is processed in some way. Just aim for products that require the least amount of processing to get onto your plate. When you get home, you might even immediately wash and cut fruits and vegetables and store them in a visible place, or keep a bowl of fruit out on the counter for an easy grab-and-go option. And keep things like nuts, seeds, and vegetables accessible for snacks. Like I said earlier, if it's in your pantry, you'll probably eat it. So try keeping foods you don't want to be tempted by out of your house. I had a client who told me that she only kept those off-limit types of foods in her house for her kids and her husband. You see, she had not yet found support from her family for her body composition and health goals. That's an important part of it, and maybe it can be a family decision to get some foods out of the house during the week. Maybe you can put the money you'd spend for unhealthy snacks into a fund for special family outings or some other treat. You might even try keeping a list of non-food treats for yourself and when you're tempted to reach out to food to calm down or distract you. Simple changes to your grocery habits and your kitchen setup will enable you to make better choices and help meet your goals. Remember that several facets of your lifestyle play a role in your ability to successfully make behavior changes. So take note of these and slowly address them over time. As you implement one change at a time, you might wonder what sort of results you can anticipate. Well, let me tell you, patience is key. Again, if it took 20 years to put on, give it more than 20 days to come off. Losing massive amounts of weight quickly may not be the best approach, even though we see this on TV all the time. If you lose 5 pounds, or 2.3 kilograms, in 1 week, it is most likely due to changes in water weight, or even from muscle loss with extreme calorie restriction. Neither of these will result in the positive body composition changes that you're looking for. And some research supports the idea that slower weight loss might be best for actual and permanent changes in body composition, particularly with your muscle mass. So, what kind of changes in numbers should you really see if you're making a solid effort to improve your body composition? Well, it's tough to tell because it is so individualized. But some experts suggest that average fat loss changes are around 0.5% body fat lost every 4 weeks. And average muscle gain is about 1 pound or 0.45 kilograms of lean mass every 4 weeks, if those are your specific goals. And I know all of you want numbers and goals, but you should first ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Is this working for my lifestyle? And then listen to your body. But if you aren't making any progress, then it's important to reevaluate and make a change that you can stick to and begin the process again. For example, let's say your goal was to pack your lunch for work at least 4 days per week, but you were only able to do it for 2 days. Now, identify what didn't work. Perhaps you waited until the morning to pack your lunch and ran out of time. Maybe you didn't buy the right foods at the store, so recheck some items on those grocery store lists. Well, these barriers should become the focus of your change. For instance, you might leave a note on your bathroom mirror to remind you to pack your lunch before bed. being aware of what your progress should look like, and being prepared to encounter barriers and relapses are both very important to your overall success. Behavior change is the ultimate combination of everything we've discussed. The fascinating field of body composition, exercise, nutrition, and health is rigorously scientific. And what we know is growing and changes all the time. Ignore the fads. Possessing real knowledge about the science of nutrition and the science of exercise to improve your body composition will help only if you can put it into action. Unfortunately, there's a huge difference between knowing what to actually do and then actually doing it. As the popular quote states, the difference between who you are and what you want to be is what you do. And the time to start is now. There is no right time, and tomorrow is probably not any better than today. Choose one small thing to implement and get after it. Surround yourself with positive and supportive people too. They say you are the average of the 5 people you associate with most. So be sure that some of those people lead you towards good behaviors. This alone could spark some change in you that you never knew existed and allow you to discover your optimal body composition. I absolutely love this field. I love being in the trenches of the research world and being able to share the science with the public. It is truly a pleasure to work on projects that really impact people in a positive way. I got started in this field in an attempt to improve my own body composition and performance. But over the years, that goal has evolved to more altruistic endeavors. And there's nothing better than when the research published from my lab can actually be applied to help you improve your health, performance, and body composition. You've just dedicated your time to improving your knowledge base in the science and application of nutrition and exercise to improve your body composition. Whether you want to make a change or just learn the information so that you can continue to enjoy health and vigor, I hope you're excited to know everything that you do now. Let's face it, no matter if you're an accountant or a salesperson or a professor, your body composition and health must be priorities in your life. Now that you know the nuts and bolts, I suggest that you start simply, using the try this recommendations of each lecture in this course to help you make healthy changes. It's never too late to improve the quality of your life. The science of nutrition and exercise physiology continues to evolve. It is exciting for me to know that what we can measure in the laboratory may provide us insight on better or more efficient ways to achieve more and live life fit. It could be a new superfood or supplement, or just a novel way to use nutrient timing that changes the scope of performance nutrition. My research team is now answering some of these questions surrounding these topics. We continue to learn about new ways to optimize body composition, health, and performance. As you continue along your health and body composition journey, make sure to stay open-minded and seek out the latest evidence. Try this. Write out your shopping list and take it with you to the store to stock your house with foods that support your goals. Good luck and stay fit.